Back to the People's Card Shop, round 2.
Yep, we have Mark versus Ward. It's going to be two Kaisas, is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to put that now.
Yep, it's going to be a Kaisa mirror match, a really interesting one always. The cool thing about Kaisa, it's pretty hard deck to play, and there's a lot of sequencing and a lot of things that you have to take in count of. So then having two times that in one game is going to be really interesting, really fun to watch. So let's see what both of these players will be doing.
Yeah, the mirror match is a pretty skillful one. No matter how you might dislike the Kaisa deck, Kaisa versus Kaisa, that mirror match is a skillful one for sure. Okay, so we have Star Tipped Peak and we have Reaver's Row.
Yeah, both of these decks use these both battlefields really well, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for the double Dreaming Tree game. It's going to be as well. That one's going to be really fun. A lot of cards will be drawn.
It's interesting to go for Star Tipped Peak right off the bat, because if you don't get to go first, you're giving your opponent the chance in order to get into that battlefield first to control it. So blinding the Star Tipped Peak.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one.
But we're just saying that we're going to use our removal spells better than the opponent, and they're not going to get a chance to use the peak. Okay, so our right side is going to put back 1 in order to draw. Both looks like we put 1. Okay, player 2 is starting. So Mark is playing his Pouty Poro for 2 mana. This is going to be the problem with the Star-Tipped Peak. He got his 2 mana first. So we're going to pass, keep the mana open. We definitely have a removal spell.
And here's the reason why the Poro is so good in the mirror match. Deflect, keeping him off of big mana turns is going to be really, really relevant.
He gave it to him. We don't have the removal. I feel like we should have mulliganed a little more aggressively, but maybe we just like our hand for the mid-game. We gave him the Poro. He has a Star-Tipped Peak, and we're going to come back in a second. Another Poro, keeping 2 mana up. Player 1 is at 4 mana, or 5 mana, because he went second. We're going to play our Kaisa Accelerated. And then we're going to push in. The bad thing is we have 2 mana up, and we might have...
Ooh, right there. So it's going to be a trade.
It's not the most premium removal because we're option in that case because the Void Seeker would have just taken it out. But we still get the trade for his full turn playing the Kaisa. Man, this puts us really behind.
And then just having a unit in base to be able to follow up with makes that trade all the worth it. Because it's basically starting off fresh, but he has the unit again.
Maybe that's why we didn't do anything. We decided that our Kaisa might have been good enough.
Okay, Noxious Hopeful, and it's going to be the Death Knell that draws 1 card when it dies.
Noxious Hopeful is the best 2-drop. That is actually a 4-drop. If you played another card this turn, it has Legion. It costs 2 less, so it's a 2 mana for my person. We have another Kaisa in our hand, so that's why we kind of kept our hand, because we wanted to double Kaisa. And it's going to go through. We're killing the Pouty Poro, and we're going to get our Conquer point.
So right now, Ward really needs to have any type of removal, any type of battle trick right now, because the Noxious Hopeful checks the Kaisa. So let's see what he has. Hopefully it's like a Stupefy.
Maybe Recall. I would like Recall here.
Yeah, Recall would definitely be great.
I think if he doesn't have a Recall,
also
he should have pushed into the Reaver's Row instead. Yeah, the Kaisa's in the Reaver Row. He's just going to push it in, get the Conquer point, get the draw card.
Mark just always seems to be, just pushing his game forward always and always right now, being really proactive.
Wow, we didn't have any battle trick. We just were able to cleave in our unit and take
now
out
the Noxious
Kaisa.
Hopeful gets to hold. Not hold, but conquer. But being a 4 might unit, not a lot of stuff can answer it. It has to be something like a Darius or like a Kaisa plus a battle trick. The problem here is 2 units on the battlefield. There's no conceivable way that we get both off the battlefield right now. So right now it's probably going to be Darius Cleave or Darius in some type of any other action.
We do have a Void Seeker available.
Ooh, here you go.
So we're going to Falling Stars, so we're going to double ping the Kaisa so it can't escape the Dreaming Tree or the Reaver's Row, but we're just going to recall it. We do have the Void Seeker in our hand, but we also have
Oh,
the Death
wow.
Ray.
Makes it into a trade.
Wow. Also have the Death Ray. Player 1 is unfortunately just losing value on every trade here. We have the Kaisa back. We were able to trade our smaller units up with these battle spells. That's why the Kaisa is such a good deck, and it is really a skillful mirror match in which player could trade their smaller units up with the spells more effectively, and that's going to be the people.
Oh, yeah, and this
who
one
win.
comes in readied. Gets to conquer here.
Very interesting thing about Darius, if you play your second card, he readies himself, and if he is your second card,
He counts
sees
himself.
himself entering, which is strange, but good.
Okay,
Good for
Kathy
him.
and Rain, but will that be able to clear the whole board? 3 times.
That should
Yep.
be able to clear everything,
Clears everything.
which is fine. The player 1 has had to use so much mana off accelerating Kaisas and all the shenanigans so far that player 2 has so much extra mana.
Yeah, you want to be activating a Kathy and Rain when you have a board, not necessarily to clean it up. Because right now, he has nothing on board.
A lot of players are scared of just straight up slamming the Watcher down non-accelerated to keep the mana. It's just a 7 might person. You could just play it.
Yeah, it beats over Darius's. It does a lot.
You're definitely losing a lot of value from it, but he's saying that he probably has another Watcher in his hand or just things he wants to do on the following turn.
And right here, it was a little bit too much. Mark takes it down.
Yeah,
That was a...
player 2 kept the extra Kaisa in his opening hand, and he thought that he'd be able to get value out of turboing Kaisa with the Accelerate and then Kaisa, and then win off of controlling both battlefields with the Kaisa. But the problem is, when you are fighting the Kaisa mirror match, there's a lot of spells you have to look forward to. So if you're going to tap out for 2 turns in a row in order to accelerate your Kaisas, you hope they don't have the removal for it, you know?
Yeah. And then that's the thing. Mark definitely had the removal, made all those Kaisas, definitely not get as much value as Ward wanted. And that seemed like it was enough. Because Mark's deck was just going at all cylinders, you know what I mean? Every turn he was activating 2 or 3 cards.
I've seen Mark's deck, and he likes to constantly kind of change a couple of his cards in there. He likes to have a couple 2-ofs, a couple 1-ofs, just random cards that kind of fit his playstyle. So it's not the typical. It's a typical Kaisa core, but then he always fits in cards that he personally likes, which makes his deck very tailored towards him specifically.
Yeah, playing the 2-drop Death Knell that draws a card, is pretty interesting. But it seems pretty good when you want to bait your opponent into playing into a Thousand Tail Watcher or into other stuff like that.
I like how Mark is showing us what he's
he's honestly being the real homie. I didn't know what he was doing at first. He was going, he's showing up his cards.
And he showed his hand what he had last turn.
Yeah,
too.
he definitely not his first rodeo when it comes to streams and stuff like that.
He took out his cleaves. 2 cleaves he took out. When you're playing versus super competitive players, you have the specific side patterns. So we are seeing from player 1, the Grove. When you hold here, you draw a card. And from player 2, the Warrens. When you conquer here, you get to discard 1 and draw 1.
All right, so it's going to be Zarn Warren. Zon Warrens and Grove of the God Willow. So that means, most likely, if we get to Game 3, it is going to be the double Dreaming Tree game, where cards will be drawn left and right. I hope it gets to that, but it'll always be interesting. Let's see what we get here.
Player 1 has some 2 Pouty Poros. What is that card?
Shout outs to Mark. He's really trying to show us his hand.
And then we have a Void Seeker. Yeah, Game 2 is the game we dream about, or Game 3.
Yep. Probably keeping the Pouty Poro. Just a good one drop. I can see, okay, Ravenbloom Student. Here you go, Paudiporo pass. A lot of interesting a lot of interesting things he can do on turn 2. Let's see how he develops his board. Maybe like a 2-drop and it knocks us hopeful. 2-drop. Okay, let's see what the other one is. And it is going to be a Noxus Hopeful, reinforcing the board. I'm a big fan of Noxus Hopeful. It's just an easy, cheap way to get 4 might onto the board. Super duper duper strong. Okay, here we go. Dealing 4 damage, drawing a card. The question is he going to, he is going to go for the trade. Oh, no, it's going to be Stupefied. Going to get slightly bigger.
It's nice to have the tempo, but tapping out in Runeterra is really rough when you verse a deck that has a lot of reactionary spells like Kaisa. So I like that we're able to get down a lot of our 2-drops, but I would have preferred to keep that Ravenbloom in the base if we were going to tap out.
Okay, here we go.
Accelerate the Kaisa. We have enough mana for our Ray. We're going to cleave. That was a really good cleave.
That was a really good cleave. He needed that. I wouldn't necessarily have been a blowout because there was no, monsters in Mark's base to follow up with after the trade, but it could have been really, really bad for
Yeah, it
Ward.
would have been really unfortunate, but that was a good cleave.
Yep. Discarding the retreat, that's pretty interesting, but maybe the retreat's not something he wants to do right now. Also, it's something he can't do. The shields are down again. It's pretty interesting here. Ward has been tapping out consistently. Let's see if that seems to be the thing to do here. But look at Mark's hand. He literally has a book in his hand, a gigantic hand. And Nox is hopeful right now. Going up to 3 for Ward. So how's he going to develop the board? That's the real question.
Ooh, looks like we have the Washer in our hand for the follow-up turn when we get there. So 2 turns from now, we're able to wipe the board with that Watcher. It's always a slow turn when you play a Lecturing Yordle. It is a nice card, but when your opponent plops down a Lecturing Yordle, they don't have the best hand or they don't want to fully tap out. The Yordle is nice for that. You can use 3 mana, not fully tap out, draw a card, keep up some mana for interaction.
Yeah, still pressure the board.
Yeah, while you're waiting for like Darius and Watchers and stuff to hit the board in the follow-up turns.
And then sometimes with the Kaisa deck, you just need a card to cleave or a card to just pump up. So it's just nice to have that. Okay, retreating here.
I like the retreat.
Yep.
It's a good retreat. We're just going to lose it for free. We're keeping up 2 mana.
Yeah, he's trying to basically just set up to where when the Noxus Hopeful comes into a battlefield, he can answer it straight back. That's often the thing with the Kaisa decks. It's not really a deck that often gets many points because of a hold. It often tries to get a double conquer over and over and over again using stuff like Darius's or Kaisa's. Here you go, the Noxus Hopeful discarding for Zon Warrens.
Let's see if player 1 has the... Ooh, so we're going to do our Falling Star. Falling Star, 2 mana, 2 Power Pip, but you can always tap your Kaisa for the extra Power Pip. Target 2 of your opponent's cards and ping them for 3.
Stupefy to try to increase the power of the thing, but then, just to draw the card.
Yeah, you kept up the 2 mana. Might as well just trade the Stupefy for an actual good card that you want to use later on. That's the beauty about Stupefy, is in blue decks you have the Ravenbloom, so it buffs the Ravenbloom. It's a card draw, it's a battle trick.
Yeah,
sometimes
with
Ravenbloom
Ravenbloom it secretly does a second effect, you know what I mean? Giving it a +1.
Yeah. Okay. 3 mana tap Kaisa. We're going to Void Seeker. Ping it, draw a card. Void Seeker's ability to replace itself with that card draw and basically be free within Kaisa because you tap Kaisa for the 1 power pip, so it's 3 mana, draw a card, deal 4 damage. It's very premium. If you think about a 3-drop, if it had 4 might, it would be a premium unit. So Void Seeker dealing or a 4 damage just makes sure it gets to kill most premium
Yeah,
3
most
drops
cards.
and below.
And it might even trade up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. True, kills a lot of 4 drops too. A lot of 4 drops have 4 might. Nox is hopeful. We get to play it for 2 mana because we played our Void Seeker this turn, and we're going to pass 4 mana up, or 5 mana up. We know that Mark, player 2, he does have a Watcher in his hand, so there's a lot of stuff we can do. We're getting the point off of the Warrens, going to discard a card and draw a card.
It's always real intimidating when these Kaisas have big mana turns because now they can develop their board with maybe a 4-drop or a 2-drop, but then also have a bunch of creatures just hanging out. Ray dealing damage to the Boro and paying the deflect cost. Let's see here. Is that a Mundo?
A little insight into Mark. He runs the Mundo in his side deck to play versus Kaisa because Mundo is so good into Kaisa. It's like almost impossible other than the Cathian Rain to just take care of him.
Yeah. And then even
so what
with
a funny side deck, huh?
yeah, even with the Cathian Rain, there's a chance that Mundo might not just die.
Mundo is a big man. A lot of cards in your graveyard because you're constantly churning through cards in Kaisa. Stupefies, Void Seekers, drawing cards, losing cards, and just being able to replace themselves that you don't really need a discard package in order to make Mundo work. And going into game 2, he has the Zon Warrens to back up his Mundo. So he's getting extra value secretly for his Mundos that he sided in.
Oh, wow. Promise Day or Promise End. Draw 4 cards. That's a pretty interesting include in a Kaisa deck.
Yeah, I've always thought it was too much mana, but some Kaisas include it because you're like searching for the cards that you teched in.
Exactly need.
I think it's called like Promise Day. But you're trying to just like hyper search for what you sided into your deck, which it's okay. It's just a lot of mana. Progress Day, 6 mana, 1 power pip, draw 4 cards.
That's the thing with the what is it called with the Mundo? He needs a card that answers this Mundo, so this Progress Day is probably needed. And it looks like he plays the Darius to develop his board. But right now, Mark's on easy street. You know, he has the point lead, and right now he's just trying to cycle as many cards to make sure this Mundo is as fat as possible. So removal just doesn't clear it.
A really interesting thing that you could do with Mundo is on your opponent's turn, as you're using spells, they buff Mundo by +1. So all spells in your hand that you use on your opponent's turn have a additional ability where Mundo gets +1 power that turn when you use it. Void Seeker down the Nox is hopeful. Don't let them get the hold point. Looks like we have a Lecturing Yordle in our hand. Falling Star.
Oh, yeah, Falling Star.
Man, getting rid of that Darius, we probably are kicking ourselves for playing it to develop our board. But it's pretty much safe other than Falling Star and a Cathian Rain.
Yeah, and all Mark is trying to do is just clear the board every single turn to make sure this Mundo is just safe. Even if it's a small creature, that creature can hold on to a cleave, can, you know, add, add might to a Watcher. So we just want to try to clear the board as much as possible.
I totally forgot. Mark has the Watcher backing up this Mundo right now.
Yeah.
If you use everything, you kill that Mundo,
the Watcher
he still
will come
has the
down
Watcher.
and slam down.
So no matter what player 1 does, he's in a really tough position right now due to the Mundo being backed up by an accelerated Watcher. He's really thinking.
Yeah, and that's like one of the biggest things about the Kaisa deck. The Kaisa deck is really good at setting up where it's saying, hey, I have these battlefields. You can take them from me, but the moment you take them back, I'm going to hit harder or I'm going to hit you with a Kaisa, draw a card.
Player 2, Mark, has been getting a lot of value out of his spells. I think he's just been trading up a little bit more efficiently than player 1 has. Trading a Falling Star for a Darius, a Minion, and a Death Ray for a Kaisa. These add up. Every little trade that you add up,
It eventually will cause a win because your little cards shouldn't be able to trade for their like high end or even mid game cards.
oh, player 2, Mark, he has the Time Warp too.
Oh
So
wow,
if he's not able to kill this Mundo,
it's going to be a
he's
huge.
going to push in, double conquer, and then double hold.
Mhm. But just know Mark is pretty far away from a time warp. He's at least 2 turns as long as he doesn't recycle.
A Cathian Rain.
But does that answer the Mundo? That's the question.
From this position, I do not know how big Mundo is, but he still has 1 mana, maybe for a Death Ray. He has 2 mana. He has 2 mana. He has a Falling Star in his hand, so he does have an additional 6 damage for the Mundo. So it's 12 plus 6, so he has 18 damage for that Mundo. It just kind of depends on how much is in his graveyard.
But that's the thing, he's using all these removal spells, which are great. He needs to remove these monsters off the battlefields, but he's never. Every time he's activating a removal spell, he has not been developing his board, and that's the issue. You can't just have no board and kill every single creature because these little creatures that end up surviving these will nickel and dime you points, and it's going to be a little too hard to catch up.
Maybe we forgot to say it. Mundo, he gets +1 power for every card in your graveyard, so he's just a really big guy.
All right, being able to hold here, that's really solid.
It kind of stinks that we're not able to use Watcher or Time Warp right now. But we're just going to recycle 1, draw a card for the Kaisa. Let's push into the God Willow, get some extra cards in our hands.
I believe we're at a scary number now. We're at 6, and 6 always means if we're able to hold, we win through a time warp. A lot of things can go down.
We have another just 2-drop added to the fray here to bolster up our bottom Zon Warrens. So it's really coming down to the wire. We have our second Darius of the game played for player 1. We're going to attack into the Zon Warrens. And we have our Death Ray in order to deal 3 damage to a unit at a battlefield. So Darius is going to be hit with 3. And it's going to trade for the 2 units. We're going to conquer it ourselves with our...
Oh, and just a trade.
And trade.
So, hey, right here, the Watcher is going to be... Oh, yeah, I think Mark just flashed the Watcher, and it was the immediate concession because that's going to be the double conquer with the open battlefield and the Watcher coming down.
Did he concede, or did the other guy get the points?
Did he concede? Oh, no, I guess he is conceding. I guess it's going to game 3.
Okay, so we're going into game 3. It looks like player 1, even though he was heavily out-tempoed with those trades, was able to just get to that 8th point. So we're going to game 3 here.
Yeah. And
Is
Mark
it tree
has,
v tree?
No, Mark has Greatest Arena. He doesn't have
Greatest Arena. Doesn't run the tree. Interesting.
Maybe he's just hoping his opponent has the tree up, and he takes advantage of that.
Definitely. Like, a lot of decks are now running tree, so if you want to just... your opponent's running the tree, then it's chill.
Shouts to Mark. Really knows how to help us out here on the stream.
So the Greatest Arena is both players start with 1 additional point. Now, the weird thing about Greatest Arena that happened in the regional is you do have to declare that you are getting that point, because if you don't declare that you're getting that point, then you don't get it.
There you go. Big, almost. See, it could have been. It could have been real. The double dreaming tree.
Yeah, we were another dream, another game. And then Dreaming Tree, just when you target your card first time per turn, you get to draw 1 card.
That is definitely going to be a point of contention for both Kaisa decks trying to maximize the usage of that card. Definitely awesome turning, what is it called? Stupefies into Consult the Pasts.
Yeah, I love stupefying my own guy at a Dreaming Tree. Feels great. So Mark is going to get to go first here.
First with the Arena's Greatest is definitely where you want to be from time to time. Basically, you just start off with an extra point, but then because you got to go first, you most likely have the point tempo.
Man, it was interesting that Mark lost that game. He was so in
Yeah.
a cool position.
Mark might have I don't know, actually.
I think he did. He just got the points.
Okay, Ravenbloom student. Here we go.
Pouty Pour into Ravenbloom. It's like the matchup of the century. If you want to target the Pouty Pour, you got to pay the cost.
You got to pay the toll.
The Poro Toll. We're going to stupefy our own unit right off the bat. Not our Dreaming Tree, but it's still our dream.
Nox is hopeful.
We have 3 mana up.
Ooh,
Nox is hopeful.
man, I love Nox is hopeful. It's so good.
I don't mind playing in the back row. I would also like to put it in the front, but leaving it on 1 mana and your opponent has so much mana, you're just asking for him to.
Yeah, if he has like double
Void
spell, like
Seeker
a
or
cleave plus array or something like that, it could potentially just go crazy. Yeah, exactly. He had the cleave.
The Cleave is probably the best spell to have in this situation because you don't have to target the Pouty Poro. You get to target your own Ravenbloom student, draw 1 card, and you don't have to pay the reflect cost. So definitely the best spell that you could have in this situation to win this fight for player 1.
And the retreat's really, really, really strong, drawing a card and not losing the unit. Another Ravenbloom student to develop the board, but more importantly, he's tapped out. So something like a Kaisa can come down, and
We used the Falling Star to kill the back row, putting us in the position, like you said, where we probably want a Kaisa. But knowing that, Mark probably might not play the Kaisa because he knows that his opponent put him in the position where playing the Kaisa was advantageous.
yeah, because
So
he himself can respond back with a Kaisa.
Kaisa, his Kaisa.
Yep. But I like this developing his board because that's the thing with Kaisa. It can come down, accelerate at any time. So just trying to set up these units that can't, conquer by themselves, conquer immediately, come out.
Mark has a Time Warp in his hand. How I feel sometimes about Time Warp is it's such a broken card, but if you get it early on, it's just sitting there, and it gives you less options in order to do things in the early and mid game. It's definitely crazy in the late game, but drawing it so early, you don't like to see it.
Yeah, it's basically just a brick at that point.
We're going to accelerate our Kaisa into the Dreaming Tree just to get a point here. We have 1 mana left open, so we probably have something like a Retreat in our hand to save that Kaisa, or Stupefy just to get value out of it before it goes. Yeah, it looks like we have the Retreat in hand from player 1, able to save that Kaisa, draw card, and ramp a rune. We're going to Void Seeker down the Kaisa, but it's going to get retreated.
But also gets to let him draw a card and channel a rune.
Kaisa just uses the Dreaming Tree so well. It's all the blue cards. All the blue cards interact with Dreaming Tree in such a nice way. Interesting choice, choosing to kill the... Oh, he doesn't have a choice. That's taunt. So Lecturing Yordle has taunt, meaning where you have to deal damage to the Yordle first before you deal damage to anything else, making sure that the Pouty Poro stays up. We're passing back to player 1. We have 4 mana left open right now. I feel like Kaisa always has nothing but everything on the board at the same time.
Yeah.
There's so many little tiny 2-drops. All you need to conquer is one guy.
One guy. Yeah.
One of them will stick. Just slam them all down.
But
see
that's
who
what I like
stays.
what Mark's been doing. Every time he's been activating any type of removal spell, he's been weaving in like a 2-drop. So he always just applying the pressure. Because that's the thing about this matchup is these creatures just keep trading off over and over and over and over again. And you have to basically maneuver a way to make sure that you're the last one with a creature.
We're going to lecture. Get a card. Accelerate. Yep, accelerate to Kaisa. Attack into the Pouty Poro. He has so much mana up, though. Yeah, we were asking for the Void Seeker there. But if you don't try, you'll never know.
Yep. And the thing about it is Mark has a lot of runes now.
If that Kaisa attack went through, player 1 was in a really good position, but player 2 had 4 mana up. So
Yeah, he goes to 4 here, I believe.
the best thing
Goes
about
to 5 actually.
Time Warp.
Time warp to go to 7.
7. Wow.
And honestly, even if this doesn't necessarily win him the game
It's
on
2
the
points.
spot,
I like
it's
it.
2 points. Yeah, a draw card, and he's basically just setting up for a.
He moved the Pouty Poro out because he had a movement, and if he wants to put it back in, he'll just put it back in. It doesn't matter. It just gives him more options now, depending on what he wants to do.
Yeah, and then it gives him the option to now conquer with a Kaisa, drawing a card, and leaving the Pouty Poro. And see, what I'm saying here is every single time he, summons something or does something, he makes sure to leave a card back. And I think that's a really big, important thing here.
So now we're going for our final hold. We're going to just use our last removal spell, not last, but like the last one for this turn in order to remove the back row in order to try to get a hold.
Yeah, because right now it just seems like it's Thousand Tail Watcher or bust.
What he also did is he killed his 2-drop, and since he targeted it, he got the draw card, and then when it died, he got to draw another one. Remember that Falling Star is not just targeting your opponent's creature; it targets any creature. A really cool tech into Falling Star is if you have one creature and before the reflexive triggers happen, if you bounce your creature, your opponent has to target their own guy. So in that situation, you can do that too. Showing the player knowledge from player 2, or the game knowledge from player 2.
Can you go retreat?
Caffeine Rain, retreat.
Rain.
So now he has to target that Poro and waste all of his mana. So 3 mana off of that.
He needs to be able to summon a creature here. Okay, good.
Player 1, he doesn't have too many cards in hand. One of those cards is a Time Warp. So we see Void Seeker, Time Warp.
Oh, double Darius. And that's it.
Nice. So
that was a
for
great
those you didn't know, Kaisa comes in accelerated. You play Darius. He's a second card, raise himself, and then you get to conquer both battlefields. Player 1 had nothing left, so he got it.
Yeah, no, that was a great game. Mark really showing his mastery of the deck. A lot of intricate moves, a lot of cool stuff that he did.
No matter if I if you find Kaisa a little bit annoying to play versus because you see it all around,
Yeah.
it is so interesting to watch Kaisa's
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
especially a Kaisa v Kaisa. That was
Mhm.
such an entertaining match, the back and forth between all of the removal.
And then you could definitely tell when someone, you know, was well versed in the matchup because Mark was really maximizing like every bit and every piece of the card. Even stuff like not using Dreaming Tree and banking on that other people will use Dreaming Tree for himself. And he gets to basically use another battlefield too. So I think that's a real cool thing he's doing.
Yeah, that Kaisa deck has a lot of accelerated units, the Washers, the Dariuses, the Kaisa, and a lot of removal spells. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going into game 3 of the night, and we will be back in around 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Uh, just joking. I came back to tell you we have 15 minutes until the next game because we're still 15 minutes in the timer. Those two players just played really well, but they played really fast. So we will actually be back in around 15. Me and Ed, the co-host here, we are starting a podcast channel where every Monday we're going to be posting a podcast about Riftbound. And every Monday night we're going to be streaming here. So if you like this commentary and you want to see more of us, please head to our channel as well and check out those videos. But until then, we'll be back in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 15 minutes. Player 2 is showing off his deck list, so I'll leave this here for you to watch.